Hello watch enthusiasts. Now today I'd like to talk about some of the best priced dress watches on the market, and dress watches which I think really have a really attractive appeal and somewhat quirky appeal as well. This first watch is the Autodromo Stradale, and this is a watch based on classic 60s motoring. So you can see it has a sort of a recessed dial, which has a floating hour dial just above it. The hands are just simple, unloomed, straight hands, but the minute hand has a slight counterweight on the other end, which makes it look like a speedometer gauge, which I think is a really nice touch, considering this is a motoring-themed watch. The domed crystal, along with the recessed dial, really gives the whole watch a very three-dimensional look when one wears it on the wrist. Because when you look at it from the side, you can see the various layers above each other, including that cover over the centre of the hands, which makes for a very luxurious feel, actually. Now, in terms of quality, Autodromo have always been known since the very beginning of the brand for the quality of their watches. Now, though the movement may not seem like anything special, it's a Miyota 9015, it's well regulated and will definitely keep time. And let's also remember that these are easily and cheaply serviced, which can be a benefit, really, with a nice watch. The whole case is polished, which I think lends to that old-fashioned look that it's going for, along with those wire lugs, which are reminiscent of certain Panerai radio mirrors. Now, usually I wouldn't mention the strap on a watch, but in terms of my experience with Autodromo, they make some of the best leather straps I've ever seen, and these padded ones on the Stradale are really no exception. Now, 3 colour options are available. There's a version with a fully black dial, that's both parts, and a red strap, which gives a very sporty look. There's a cream dial and cream and grey dial with a brown strap, which is very classic and elegant, and there's a grey on grey dial with a blue strap, which, though I like, it's probably my least favourite of the lot. In terms of pricing, these watches will cost around £600, which, though it may seem like quite a lot for a Japanese movement, I'd say that the rest of the watch definitely justifies the price, and in fact, in terms of the build quality, these watches would seem like they're worth more. This next watch sits in a slightly higher price bracket, around the £800 mark. Now, this is the Longines Conquest Heritage, and it's a stainless steel watch, a 35mm watch actually, which is reminiscent of the watches made in the 50s by Longines. Now, I particularly like this watch because it has a very highly domed plexiglass or hesselite crystal, which gives the whole watch a very old-fashioned look, as it's meant to have, along with a slight slit in the front of the lugs, which really gives the whole watch a separation between the circular section of the case and dial from these quite sturdy lugs. The standard version of the watch is available with a stainless steel case, and I think this version actually looks very elegant with that sunburst style dial. There is also a black dial version with gold writing, which I think is also very elegant for wearing with, say, a dinner jacket or something of that type. That said, I prefer the sunburst white dial because I think it complements those hour markers better. Inside this watch is a standard ETA 2824, which I think is minorly decorated by Longines, but there's no exhibition case back, so I don't know. And the standard version does also include a date at 12, which is a very odd placement actually, but I think works rather nicely. There is also a limited edition version of this watch, which is known as the 1954 2012, I believe, which is an even closer replica with no date of the original. It also has slightly different lugs, and the dial is, as you can see in the photograph, more ornate with various different reflective patterns on it, which I think looks brilliant. Now, this watch is available in a steel with a white dial version, rose gold with the white dial, normal yellow gold with a white dial, and gold with a gold dial. Personally, I like this one on the screen, because I think it just looks like a very chic dress watch. For the limited edition versions, I'd say you'd have to pay over £1,000 for a good one. But that said, I suspect as an investment, these pieces will hold their value and probably appreciate in future due to the limited nature. This watch is the Nomos Orion 38, and this watch is a very modern Bauhaus-style wristwatch from Nomos with an in-house manually wound movement. Now, I think the elegance and simplicity of this watch really is unparalleled on the market. That simple dial with the blued hands and the gold indices just screams quality. Although on the non-date version, I would have appreciated if they'd stuck a gold indice on the 6 o'clock mark, because on the non-date version it does look like there's something missing there. One thing that should also be noted is that the whole watch is only 8mm thick, making it extremely wearable under a cuff. Inside this watch is the Nomos Alpha movement, which is their most, well, I say basic, their most simple perhaps movement, but still an in-house, completely decorated movement, which frankly I think is unrivaled in this price bracket. The case of this watch is stainless steel, and I don't think there are any other material options for the case. Now, the dial of this watch is available in various different versions, notably a white, a grey, and I believe a black, although I'm not sure. One option which is perhaps worth considering with this watch is the date function. Now, the date is at 6 o'clock and doesn't really affect the dial, so it'll still have that balanced look which it has. And the date will cost a little bit more, but the base price for this watch is about £1,600 or £1,700, which, frankly, for an in-house movement, there is no better alternative. Finally, I'd like to suggest a real luxury piece. Now, I know I go on about Omega, but I really do like their watches and think the technology they're implementing is groundbreaking. Now, this is their new Globemaster, which is a coaxial master chronometer, which means that it's the most accurate measurement or testing of the movement they can do, which makes it a really interesting piece, technologically speaking. Now, along with that impressive movement, the whole case is brushed apart from some polished details, giving it a very modern look. Equally, the dial in that blue colour on this stainless steel version, which is, by the way, the version I suggest, is a pie plate style or pie pan dial, which gives it those ledges which look very elegant. Another interesting feature is that fluted bezel. Now, on this stainless steel version, the bezel is actually made out of tungsten carbide, which is an extremely hard metal, which will prevent all that wear that one gets on a lot of Rolex Datejusts that are found on the used market. Now, though I like the crocodile or alligator strap, I would advise getting this watch on the bracelet, because for about £150 more you get that full stainless steel bracelet, which goes with that rather flat case shape extremely well. And equally, if you did want to resell the watch, that bracelet would I imagine, make a great difference to the resale value. And if you don't like the bracelet, you can always wear it on an aftermarket strap. Anyway, this watch is available for £4,800 on the bracelet, and I think £4,700 on the strap. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe, because that's the only way a small channel like this will grow. This is Arm on the Watch Guy, over and out.